Hello everyone, you're listening to another Coffees with Toffees podcast. I'll be your host Flubb, and this is the Flupdate. So we got a great show for you tonight, just like all we always do. This show is going to be focused on the Kiev Major and what events have brought from it. There's also been a little bit of a kind of a surge in my play of playing the hero Clockwork, and I kind of would like to share with all of you how you can really play the hero to his advantages, kind of give you guys a good pubbing way to play the hero and hopefully gain some MMR for those of you out there who like the hero. Alright, without further ado, let's start with the Kiev Major. The Kiev Major, we got to talk about the spoilers of it, so those of you who don't want to watch it, I want to stop this and watch it for another day or listen to it for another day. But I'm going to go right into it, so spoiler alert here. So first place, no surprise here, actually, OG. Well, it's actually kind of a surprise because obviously those of you who have seen it or who have known that what this tournament has entailed, OG had a long, hard-fought road, and there was a lot of times where it seemed like they could have been knocked out, and they turned it around. They turned it around all throughout the tournament. So congratulations to the fourth-time winners for Majors, OG. Second place was Virtus.Pro. They gave them a hell of a series, and they did very well this tournament. I feel like they are guaranteed to have a spot at TI as well. And both third and fourth were EG and IG. Those games, it was actually kind of interesting. Throughout this tournament, there was a lot of 2-1 games. There was a lot of games that went all three. And in the main stage, almost every game went all three except for 2 games in the round 16, which were the DC and the Thunderbird games. Thunderbirds were versus EG, obviously, and DC was versus, I want to say Faceless. But anyway, they got knocked out 2-0 on those games, and then both the semifinal games, the one where IG went against Virtus.Pro, Virtus.Pro beat them solidly, and OG beat EG solidly by 2-0. There were some games that were decently close in certain circles, but overall, they were the only 4 games in the major event that went 2-0. I thought that was very interesting, and it says something to the caliber of where Dota is at and where all the teams that are invited truly belong in Dota 2 right now, in the majors in general. So, the best games of Kiev, I'm going to run through them real quick. I want to get you guys up to date and looking out for the games that you guys possibly have missed, especially in the main event. Those are the better games that actually happen. The group stages, generally there's some interesting stuff that happens and there's good to catch 1 or 2 of them, but these are the games to focus on, the ones that are in the main event that will truly give you guys an perspective on where the meta is going to be shifting, at least for the next few weeks. So the finals game, the first one I want to talk about is the finals game, OG versus VP game 2. They actually kind of picked a terrorblade to counter No Tail's terrorblade in the beginning, because game 1 they played very well with it, and they had terrorblade with Monkey King and who was it? Monkey King and Fio. Phoenix and Monkey King just had that AoE team fight and had to force them into attacking a certain hero, either taking out the egg or taking out the Monkey King to push him out of the ultimate that he generally screws over everyone in giant team fights. And they picked up the terrorblade and they actually combined it with a Magnus pick, which was incredibly useful. And I think that it's something that you should focus on generally if you're looking for team strategies looking in the future. Magnus has the ability generally to obviously accelerate his farm without being in his Metamorphosis by giving him the ability of giving a cleave and helping him farm a little bit faster and making that push come way sooner for a hero that already pushes very fast at the very beginning. His ultimate, or not ultimate, but pretty much his ultimate for the hero, Metamorphosis, actually adds the base damage before your Empower does. So it actually gives him a mega boost on his damage in general. And it's something that you think about and you know that it exists, but sometimes it takes these reminders of these games to kind of bring back these classic combinations that you may have seen in the past. Alright, so that's a fantastic game. I suggest you watch that one. The second game I highly suggest is, well, actually all of these series are incredible, but this is the second game I suggest, is the SG versus EG game 3. It was an incredible series. There's a lot to pull out of that series, But really what shines for me in this game was, one, it had clock support, and I really like this idea. I think it's a very innovative idea, and apparently SG was very known for it. Kingyard was known for it, their player on there. And I didn't really know SG very well before this tournament, and they made quite a name for themselves by knocking out Secret and just giving a big wave through the community for saying that they do belong there by being able to almost knock out EG and knock out Secret. Very, 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 very good play by these guys. And it was interesting. I've always seen clock support, and when I've seen it like run and by crazy people like me, we generally have been going for movement speed to generally keep up on top of them and keep them harassed out. But it was actually really interesting that they decided to go PMS on Clock in the very beginning and use his natural tankiness to kind of work like a... it was more of a style of harassment and pushing someone out, well, kind of similar how Monkey King is needing to be run nowadays with his nerfs to his roaming potential. I thought it was very genius, and it was a lot of fun to watch. And then also that game had some crazy back and forth between those two teams, and SumiL had one of the best puck plays ever and got a giant puck ult on top of the SG team and basically won them the game. And it's kind of like the the $3 million coil or whatever, the same intensity of and importance of what that coil was. The same stuff that S4 has pulled out, and other teams that obviously there's big puck plays that have been in the past, and this is just another one to add on the list of amazing puck plays. So I got to give it to that game overall. The third game and the third series that I want to talk about is the SG versus Secret game 3. The Slark escapes in that game were just incredible. I couldn't believe he got away. Your heart was in your throat the entire time watching him play. It was a lot of fun. So if you didn't get a chance to watch those games, I highly suggest watching the SG versus Secret games. If there's one series to watch, it's that one. Kind of showcases what SG is really strong with. And actually, the last game that I want to talk about, I'm kind of cheating here and saying 2 games, but there's 5 games in the final, so you know I can mention it twice, I feel like. And it is the final game of the final series of every final part, when it was 2-2 and the final game, everything was down to it, and we had a crazy draft coming out from VP. It was incredibly smart. They got Lil, that Enchantress, he's just so famous for and very, very good on. And I think actually I was looking through Twitter earlier, and we had Nahaz tweeting out about the team and how when he was on the current iteration of VP, he has not lost with an Enchantress. So it was actually pretty crazy that OG took that game from them. And really the way that they baited the whole situation and actually got the OD that countered their entire team was just phenomenal. And it made sense on how well that they were kicking OG's ass, really, in the very beginning, and just kind of destroying them at a certain point. Really, OG's execution, though, and the way that they moved around the map and the way that their draft existed, they knew that they had been beat from draft stage, and they decided to have no tail on the Timbersaw and kind of move things around and just kind of really focus on countering what they could out of the enemy team, proving that they could possibly win out of this very slight scenario of being outdrafted. And really the play of that game, the play of the whole tournament, was the Overgrowth play by Jerix at the, what was it? It's the offlane side of the Ancients on the Radiant side. So it's kind of full of words there, you know, it's like kind of hard to figure out what side that's on, but it's like right next to the mid lane where the Ancients are, the original Ancient creeps. They had a giant fight there, and there was a perfectly timed Overgrowth from Jerix that just sealed the deal of the game. Kind of led them down a incredible path of being able to take Roshan and the first racks really quickly, and there's nothing to be said about it, but it was just an incredible play by Jerix. There's also some lucky bashes that happened as well from Troll, but obviously you're going to get a lucky bash sometime. So besides that, I actually want to go from here. I want to go into the advice from me, and I'm actually going to be switching venues here. I'm going to show you guys what we're playing with today. switching over to the casting lobby, and I'm going to start up a game. So this idea is to have Clockwork set up in the situation. We're going to have him go into the offlane, and it's something that I've been playing a lot with, and it's something that I've been really enjoying. So you pick up Clockwork, and you pick up these 6 items, and I want to read them off to you right now. Stout Shield, Healing Salve, Clarity, Tango, Obs Ward, and TP. You basically need, obviously you need the Stout Shield and the regen just to stay in lane, and you have to have the clarity to be able to manipulate using your ability of getting the cogs out as much as possible. So you have all these different items, and I'm actually going to skip past buying these particular items because I want to show you guys how the observer wards are going to be placed in this situation to give you the biggest benefit for your character, and also where possible sentry wards would be coming out. So I'm going to pick up a TP, I'm going to pick up 2 sentry wards, 2 observer wards, and we're going to get into this game. I'm just kind of going to move from here. So very simple here. I get into the game, I immediately TP out to the offlane. I'm on the radiant side for those who are listening in. And I TP out to the radiant, what is that called? The shrine on the radiant side. I go up and I place a ward right here. So for you who are listening in, place a ward right there, and you get a nice view of this entire area. And you get what's really important about it is that a lot of times people are going to be placing wards to kind of counteract you right here and over here, generally to kind of de-ward you, or even up over here. And you can generally, a lot of times people will place them over here or over here so that you can't really see this opportunity. But if you get the TP out there, then you already set up your ward immediately for them, and you don't have that problem of seeing where you are, and you can kind of set up the ward without the support being there, because they're going to be warding elsewhere, getting there a little bit more slowly. So you get there immediately and you ward. It's for those of you who are listening in, you ward the possible it's bottom right side of the safe lane bounty room. Now you want to get to back to your lane so that you can get to your creeps. You want to pick up cogs, and you want equal distance between your racks and your shrine. And as the minute hits, you want to hit that ability. This is the bulba block here. You hit this open, you grab you grab that out, and you want to body block just your melee creeps away from this. You want to try to keep them body blocked as best as you can, and you want to keep them back here. Then you can use your cogs again, open up the side, walk around, you can block them up again. You just keep doing this, and this is what bulba block is. It basically guarantees you that you're going to get your ranged creep way far up there, and you're going to have this ability to just keep pulling off the creeps and having them deal damage to them one at a time, pulling the creep wave onto your side. Having the clarity lets you have the ability to use this and kind of get yourself into a good standpoint, whereas the enemies will, they can pull and things like that. You can generally get enough farm from this lane, even if you're on the dire side, and you can kind of pull yourself into a good situation so that you can pull this creep wave back constantly. And I have this ward in the proper spot over here so that I can let my mid know, hey, they're rotating on you, and you're not going to get de-warded on this. So I know when they're missing guaranteed from this thing. And I know when they're right here. And I can just farm easily under tower. I'm missing some creeps because I'm trying to explain stuff. But at level 1, you get this cog block, and then if they are pulling on you, you can use your rocket flare at the very beginning and use it to pull creeps off to the side from here into lane. The same thing you can do at bottom. You can hit the creeps and be able to pull yourself without getting too close, and kind of guarantee you another pull from what they're pulling. Get plenty of farm, plenty of experience, and kind of go from there. Also, if you are in a situation where you're going to be facing a lot of people that are not even a lot of people, not a very good kill tri-lane, you can set up with getting 2 into battery assault and get aggressive from there. It's about pulling the enemy into a really bad situation and kind of advancing on that part. And it's all thanks to the bulba block in the very beginning. By using your shrine, using your cogs to block in an equidistant pattern, so that you can get into a very comfortable situation in your laning stage. Now you're probably asking, okay, that's fine and dandy for a Radiant side, but if you're going into the Dire side, I'm going to need something different. Well, not really. You look at here and there's still the same equidistant area where you tend to block, and you need to move a little bit differently for blocking units. But it's pretty much the exact same. You want to deny a pathway, walk around, healing up from the shrine, and you want to use your body blocks the same way. Also, when you TP to the same direction. You TP down to your offlane shrine, and when you TP to the shrine, you get into here. You'll walk up over here, and you want to walk up. For those of you who are listening in, you want to walk up onto the Radiant safe lane bounty. It's a pretty far distance away, but there's a little. It's right next to the main rune. It's an equal distance between the bounty rune and the real rune spawn at bottom. And you want to put the ward at that top of the ring. And if you can get that ward up, generally you're not going to be dewarded. And once again, you're going to see the rotations coming out from the supports unless there's smoke. And that's kind of the whole point, is that you're almost playing a support Clockwork in this type of situation. And you're guaranteeing that you won't have a problem when come face any team that your mid's going to have any problems. And if you feel more comfortable as an offlaner, you can kind of guarantee that you're safe, that your mid lane's going to win. A lot of times mid can be stolen from you if you feel like you're a better player, a more comfortable player in the position. And you can kind of give them another edge and kind of give yourself an easy way to farm by still using your cogs in an explosive fashion. So that's pretty much what I got going for us today. I'm going to switch back over and kind of show you and kind of get back to my beautiful face. I know everyone wants to see it. Not really. You guys probably don't. So switching back over, I generally kind of have these different ideas, and I kind of want to start doing them in the future. Tell me if you enjoyed them or not. But sadly, we have to close out the day at this point, and I would like to thank the channel Bass Rebels for letting me use their music once again. It's a godsend to me, and I hope that you guys appreciate the music as well. To help us out, you can subscribe to any of our videos. You can also go to you can subscribe to any of our videos at our channel twitch.tv/Toffees_Dota2. You can also go to our YouTube channel, 5 Gaming. You can go to our Patreon if you're feeling extra generous and give there at www.patreon.com/Toffees. You can also, if you're listening to want to listen to the audio version instead of actually physically watching these casts, you can follow us on Stitcher, iTunes, and SoundCloud. If you have any questions for me or Toffees, you can always follow Toffees at ToffeesTV on his Twitter. You can follow me on my Twitter at Flupdate. And if you have any casting questions, any ideas about general heroes that you want to hear about, on advice on how to play, or just feelings in general about where you want the Flupdate or Brewmaster's draft to kind of, any ideas that you have for us, I'm very open and honest. I have only been doing this for a few months now, so let me know if there's anything I can do better. And you can send those emails at crazyflub@gmail.com. Alright guys, well, I'm glad that you guys were here today. I'm glad that you could share this moment with me, and you have now been updated. I'll catch you guys next week. And actually, probably going to be an important news, we are actually going to not have the Brewmaster's draft on Mondays anymore. We are going to be doing the Brewmaster's draft on Fridays. So hopefully I'll see you on Friday, and I'll see you next week at 9:30 on the Flupdate. Catch you guys later.